Hello and welcome to another TFHB Top 10. Today we are looking at the top 10 best stadiums in world football history. Do you want to know the top 10 or the 10?
Go on.
Okay, the 10 are Santiago Bernabéu in Madrid. We have the San Siro, we have the Maracanã, we have the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the Stadio Olimpico, we have Hampden Park, the Olympiastadion in Munich, we have Wembley, and we have the Estadio Azteca as well.
Iconic stadiums, real iconic stadiums in football history. We've tried here to go wider than a club. You know, we're not just talking.
Yeah.
We thought Liverpool, and Anfield,
Old Trafford,
Man United. We want things that have hosted World Cups, European Cup finals.
Yeah.
That have had major moments happen in them. Whilst Anfield in particular has had some massive moments for Liverpool, perhaps not in wider football history.
Absolutely. So, we've each chosen our own personal top 10s. And we're going to reel off 10 to 6 first.
Okay.
And then we'll do 5 to 1 later. So, you're going to give us your 10 to 6 first.
Okay. In 10th place, I've gone the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
9th, Stadio Olimpico, Rome.
Okay.
Camp Nou, 8th. Hampden, 7th. San Siro, 6th.
Interesting. Okay, I've gone 10 Rose Bowl, 9 Stadio Olimpico, 8 Hampden Park, 7 Camp Nou, 6 Olympiastadion.
Okay.
Not too dissimilar.
Not too dissimilar.
You've both gone for the Rose Bowl in at 10th. Why?
Couple of big moments in there. Obviously, 1994 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Packed full of fans. It's a huge stadium, isn't
Massive,
it?
isn't it?
It's a bowl type American stadium. It is huge. And obviously, as well in women's football, 1999, massive moments there hosting the
Yeah, I
World
think
Cup.
if we were going the top 10 stadiums in women's football history, this might be number 1.
Yeah.
It's iconic, isn't it? The picture of Brandy Chastain after she scores the winning penalty, or he's a shirt on the knees, and it was this iconic moment of women's football, women's empowerment as well. And it's an amazing thing to see. And from that moment, women's football really just exploded into life.
Yeah.
It was given that platform.
Yeah,
America did a fantastic job. 94, of course, like you just said, the World Cup there. It showed what the US could do in terms of football and soccer and how much they liked it, and they did a great job. But I feel like aside from those two moments, it maybe falls down in more recent years.
I think it deserves its place, but it's 10th, clearly.
Yeah, 10th place. Okay. We both went for Stadio Olimpico in 9th. Iconic stadium in Rome.
Yeah.
Of course, the 1990 World Cup final.
Yeah.
European
Cup finals.
won. European Cup finals, Liverpool won 2 European Cups there. The Grobbelaar spaghetti legs, of course, famously there. Had a lot of renovations over the years. It looks a lot different to what it used to look like. I feel like it's sort of majesty has been lost a little bit in recent years as other stadiums have surpassed it.
Yeah, it's of its time, isn't it? And perhaps it's now slightly behind the times in some ways, but it's still used, obviously, by Rome and by Lazio.
Yeah, rugby now as well, Six Nations.
Yeah, used in the Six Nations. It's a very well visited stadium, isn't it? I think by Europeans because if you go to Rome, you may pop along to a game there in rugby or football. So it is an iconic stadium, but again, deserves its place sort of towards the end of our list.
Okay, let's go then down to 8. Did you go Camp Nou 8?
Camp Nou.
Camp Nou is 8.
Camp Nou.
And I went for Hampden.
And I went Hampden 7.
Let's go Camp Nou then. So look at that then. So, the biggest stadium in Europe.
Yeah.
It is getting bigger now. They're renovating it.
Big.
Spotify Camp Nou. Stadium that I've been to, it is amazing when you go in there.
It is.
You really get a sense of this is flipping massive.
Awe-inspiring.
Mescuan Club on the seat. It's so iconic in itself. Messi's obviously, the recent years, the fact that Messi's played there, that Barca side were there, it's given it another level of, incredibleness. But I don't know about massive moments other than Barcelona. You got the 99 European Cup final, United beating Bayern Munich.
Yes, yeah.
Solskjaer's won
That's
it last
the
minute.
biggest moment in stadium history in terms of outside of Barcelona, isn't it? Yeah.
And it obviously hosted games at the World Cup in '82. I don't think it's done much more than that.
No, it's an absolute iconic stadium in Europe, in world football, because of Barcelona, because of a couple of big moments. But again, compared to some of these other ones, not quite as big.
I think we might get some people saying, "Oh, it should be right at the top because it's the Camp Nou. It's it's the biggest stadium." But I don't think in terms of history, it doesn't rank alongside those best ones.
And it also needs a renovation. It's very much due a renovation. When I went there, it was like, this is amazing, this is huge, but it's very faded. It's very
concrete,
tired.
It's quite brutal, isn't it? Brutalism, isn't it? The style.
Yeah.
Right, let's go on then. Hampden Park then. I've gone for this from 8th. You've gone it
7th.
Okay, so so just
Yeah.
swapped over those two. Of course, at one stage this was the biggest stadium in the world.
Yeah.
It had ridiculous attendances. 1960 European Cup final. Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt 7-3. It's about 120,000 I think, wasn't it? Watching. Iconic match, of course. Puskás Di Stefano. I think up until a point, it was rivaling Wembley, wasn't it, as the best stadium in the world, certainly for atmosphere, probably the best one for atmosphere.
And the Scots are incredibly proud of it, aren't they? Yeah,
they are. Yeah. I went there a few years ago. It was a shame it wasn't, what it's like now. It's probably half the size it used to be in terms of capacity.
Queen's Park play there, isn't it? Queen's Park?
Yeah, they do actually. Yeah, which is surprising because they're a lower league club. It is good though. It's got a fantastic museum in there now, but I do feel like, it's lost its way in recent years. Because we're the Football History Boys, we're looking back at history. I think it deserves its place on the list for what it's
definitely
had in the past.
It's hosted some major moments. It's incredibly important to Scottish football, which is important to world football history. But again, compared to some of these ones that are going to come later, I think it's probably deserving of its place slightly further down.
Fine. Right. What's your good for 6?
So I went San Siro.
And I went for the Olympia Stadium.
Let's do Olympia.
Okay, Olympia Stadium. The reason I put it at 6th and not San Siro is because it's not there anymore. I mean, it is there, but it's not there for football anymore.
That's fair.
So, let's go through some big moments there. 74 World Cup.
One of my favourite World Cups of all time.
You are the advocate for that.
Yeah.
Of course, the
Netherlands, West
Cruyff,
Germany. Oh.
Yeah, losing out to Muller and incredible.
The 88 final, the Euros in 88.
Van Basten volley. It's a stadium as a child. I remember really recognising it because that roof, which sort of goes all the way around and just carries on going for ages outside the stadium, all around the Olympia Park. The Munich Olympics, of course, is where it was held.
So it's 4 European finals. 79, so the Forest big moment there. The 93 and the 97 finals.
The Dortmund one.
Dortmund, yeah. And also the Women's World Cup final, European Cup final in 2012.
Okay.
So, big moments. And that's why, for me, I pushed it into my top 5. I can see what you mean, though, but it's not used perhaps as much now.
No. Okay.
That's fair. Okay.
Right. So we could do our 5 to 1s?
Yeah, do the 5 to 1s then. Okay, so 5th then, I went, so I remember I've done San Siro 6th, Bernabeu 5th, then Olympia Stadium, Old Wembley, which is important to say, not New Wembley, Old Wembley.
Yeah.
Finished in 2000. Azteca, and then Maracana.
Interesting. Right, I've gone for 5 San Siro, 4 Bernabeu, 3 Maracana, 2 Azteca, 1 Wembley. All Wembley.
Ooh,
we've got a bit of difference for once.
I like that.
Nice. Okay, let's do
San Siro.
San Siro 5. One of the most recognised stadiums again.
Yeah.
It looks like a spaceship. Those amazing rounded ends.
An incredibly iconic stadium. Really, when you see it, you know exactly it's a San Siro. It's hosted some major moments in there.
Yeah.
Both Milan clubs there. Obviously AC and Inter changes his name when they both play there. San Siro, Giuseppe Meazza.
Yeah.
But it is a fantastic stadium.
It's one that's been there for a long time. I think they built it, didn't they? I think maybe for the 34 World Cup, not as the final stadium, but as a stadium for it. And then you see it over the decades, sort of changing and evolving to what it can now. Italian 90 opening game.
Yeah.
Cameroon against Argentina with a famous shock victory for Cameroon. It's hosted, multiple European Cup finals.
Obviously, the Italian national team on numerous occasions.
Yeah. And it's more iconic than the Olimpico, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very rare as well. You get two massive clubs sharing a stadium. In that way, you can't really picture it across world football quite in that way.
No.
Two huge football clubs share it quite happily. I think it is a brilliant stadium, and if anyone gets a chance to see it, it's definitely worth a visit, isn't it?
100%. Right, number 4. I went for Bernabeu. What did you go with? Olympia Stadium.
Yeah, Bernabeu was fifth for me. So
okay, so let's do Bernabeu then. Okay, why is the Bernabeu better than the Nou Camp?
For me, Barca, I prefer them to Real, but as a stadium, the Bernabeu has hosted some absolutely massive moments, isn't it, in European football history?
Yes, 82 World Cup final, the Tardelli game.
Yeah.
At the Bernabeu. It's hosted more European Cup finals. It's hosted a lot actually. It's
hosted the greatest club team in the history of football.
Yeah, exactly. So Real Madrid's home, isn't it?
Yeah.
All those 14 European Cups. Their trophy cabinet is better than anyone else's at that stadium.
Massively.
And it is iconic, isn't it? I mean, the Santiago Bernabeu, it has been renovated now. It looks incredible.
Yes.
The new designs as well for the future.
Yeah.
I think it's better. It's a better stadium than the Nou Camp because I think it's got a bit more history going on.
Yeah.
In there, you could argue that they got more successful history in that time because of what was going on outside football with Franco, and obviously Madrid was favoured.
Yeah.
And Barcelona was,
it was the royal club, wasn't it? Royal Madrid, as it is. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And Barcelona was like the antithesis of them, wasn't it? And really prejudiced towards from Franco. But I think, unfortunately, maybe for some, but fortunately for football fans, it has had an incredible history going on in there, and it's been.
I'd love to see it. I've never seen it. I've never been to Madrid. I'd love to go and see it. Just iconic again. Iconic stadium in world history.
Spot on. Right. This is where we change our minds now.
Yeah, Olympia Stadium I had fourth, which we've done.
Okay.
My third then is Old Wembley, 2000, up to 2000, yeah. Okay. So this is interesting.
My third is Maracana. Is that your number 1?
That's number 1.
And my number 1
is Azteca.
Old Wembley.
Old Wembley, okay.
Should we get Azteca out of the way then?
Okay, Azteca was 2, so Azteca consensus on that.
2. Let's go through the moments then. Obviously, 70 World Cup. The 4-1 Brazil-Italy, the Carlos Alberto goal.
Perhaps the greatest World Cup of all time, the greatest international team of all time, hosted in this stadium.
I'm pretty sure it was the game. It hosted the El Salvador Honduras game, which kicked off the football war. Then they step in for Colombia in '86, host the World Cup, and the hand of God happens at the Azteca.
You can't knock that.
Which is probably the most iconic moment for history.
And the goal of the century in the same game as well.
The goal of the century in the same game. It was a good final, 3-2 of course. Argentina, West Germany. It's going to host the opening game of the 2026 World Cup as well. Yeah. So we'll get an abundance of football history being discussed in the media about that, which is great.
And just again, iconic open stadium. It looks beautiful, isn't it? It's
massive.
Old. It's just old and good old. Possibly not as a fan experience there because of the age of it. I'm not sure now what it's like. But another one, I would love to go and see it.
I think those moments, Brazil 70, Maradona 86, are so iconic. It has to be up there, doesn't it?
Which is why we both had it second, interesting.
Yes, right. Let's go and discuss the old Wembley then. My number 1, your number 3. Now, Wembley... It's the home of football, isn't it?
That's what many English fans would say.
What would you say? Cardiff City Stadium?
I would say it probably is. For me, it wasn't there from the start in English football.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice. 23, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
1923. So by that point, English football have already had 60 years of history.
It's a heck of a shout.
And they've played it.
You're playing a good game.
At the Kennington Oval, important stadium. the Crystal Palace,
Stamford
all those
Bridge.
ones. Now, of course, it hosts massive things. The '66 World Cup, a brilliant World Cup if you're English, a brilliant World Cup generally, really entertaining World Cup.
A lot of European Cup finals.
And a lot of European Cup finals, a heck of a lot of European Cup finals.
Match of the century.
Match of the century, So I absolutely can see why you put it first. I don't disagree at all. These are
match of the Hungary 6-3. Come on.
These are 1A, 1B, 1C really, aren't they? As options,
Yeah.
These are all quality as a top three. Major moments. The biggest match in
Two Towers.
the football history is that match of the century, 1953, Hungary.
The Euro '96 final.
Yeah, very iconic. Of course, Two Towers. Yeah. Okay, so I don't hate it as a shout. I think it's a good one.
Pretty sure
for me, it was just
first European Cup victory was there as well.
the longevity. You've got to stop counting at 2000. We're
Yeah.
not counting New Wembley.
Okay, so let's go on to your number one then, the Maracanã.
Okay.
Your argument there is that it's, Wembley stops 2000, 23 to 2000.
Yeah.
Maracanã was only built in 1950.
But then think of what it's
Half
hosted.
built, wasn't even finished really.
Think of what it's hosted though.
199,000 at the World Cup final
Yeah.
in 1950. The Maracanã, the agony of the Maracanã.
It witnessed that moment where Brazil lose the World Cup on home soil
Yeah.
in like sensational style, really. Unbelievable, genuinely unbelievable. The fact they didn't win it, heartbreak, and then 2014, it doesn't host the 7-1,
It doesn't.
which is a shame. If it did,
Host
class.
the final, didn't
But
it
it does
again?
host the final, and in between that, it's where Brazil play, and Brazil are the greatest international team of all time.
Yeah, this is hard actually. I mean, you are right. 950 Maracanã.
Well, maybe
massive.
are we united on Azteca? Maybe we boost Azteca to first. Although it was our
tough.
consensus number 2.
Right. Let's go through it now then. Let's
Okay.
go from 10 to 3.
Okay,
10 to 4, and we'll do number 3 there. So, in 10th, the Rose Bowl.
united on that. Yeah,
In 9th is the Stadio Olimpico.
yeah.
In 8th,
We got to decide between Hampden or Camp Nou.
let's go.
I can move down Hampden if you want.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go Hampden
Eighth.
8th. Camp Nou 7th.
Yes.
Right, what's going in at 6th?
Um,
You got Lipsano quite high, haven't you? So you go
I've
San
got-
Siro then?
go San Siro 6th.
Okay.
Been
And
about Olympia Stadium 5th.
Yeah.
Been about 4th.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
it's
here
the
we
top
go.
3.
Right. Thing is, this is what I'll go with. You said the Maracanã's the best. I said Wembley's the best.
Yeah.
Azteca we also second.
Yeah.
Either we have Azteca second or it goes down to third because we both have the other two as our number ones.
But then when we talked about it, Azteca did host some
Okay,
big
right.
moments, didn't it? 70 and 86.
Okay, so Azteca is
I'm
in
happy
second.
I'm happy to cede the Maracanã because it's Maracanã's only 50 as you said. It's just big moments.
Yeah, I know, but Wembley's
moments for big
massive
team.
moments. Match of the century.
Okay,
Matthews Cup final.
let's do it then. Azteca
Okay.
third,
Azteca third. Maracanã second.
Wembley first.
Wembley first. Okay, that is our just about
Yeah.
consensus on the. I thought this was going to be an easy one,
Yeah,
and we struggled. Right, that is our top 10 stadiums of all time. Have a look at the list now. See what you think. Let us know in the comments which stadium you think is the best of all time. This was really hard, but I really enjoyed that. We had a good journey through
Yeah.
football history there.
yeah, and we want to hear your thoughts on that because people will argue other ways, and for sure, I think you can argue. Certainly, of those top 3, you could argue any of them earning that right to be top 3.
Fantastic. Right, thank you so much for watching. If you can support the History Boys, there's a link to buy me a coffee in the description below. That'd be incredible. You can also sign up for memberships on there. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next one very soon.